Family, welcome to 180 Truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is part 2 about the masks that men wear. Come on, family, let's get into it.
We must seize the moment of truth, baby.
Let's go. Family, welcome to 180 Truth.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
I'm Dr. Honorio Chapara. I'm going in part 2 on the question of the 8 masks of men. Just part 2 here. Reverend Frederick Gross. Good book. I don't agree with everything in the book. I'm still going through it. I've been through it once in the past, and it really stuck with me, these 8 masks of men. What masks do men wear? And I want to talk to you about that. And the masks keep us from confronting and dealing with our fears and our legitimate desires as men. Family, go ahead, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, go on ahead and share, and please make sure to leave a comment as we go through these remaining 4. This is part 2 of this video on the 8 masks of men. Let's go. Thank you for being here at 180 Truth. Please continue to support the channel and get me a cup of coffee by going to simplyaviance.com, where you can get some fresh gear about faith, about coffee, about worship, men, women, seasonal gear. Listen, you sign up today, guess what? You get 25% off your first order. Orders over $100, free shipping. Family, simplyaviance.com. So family, what are these remaining 4 masks of men? What are these masks of men? Well, the mask of control. The mask of control. Do you know some brothers, and I know also some sisters, that are controlling? They've got to have everything a certain way. They can be incredibly rigid. Other people are controlling in very dark and manipulative ways, gaslighting, and they can be very narcissistic, just all about them. And this control, this need to make sure that everything is just completely dominated. They won't participate in anything if they're not fully in control. And this hides a desire, I think, for peace. This hides a desire for peace. For me, now what's interesting is Reverend Gross suggests that this actually hides a desire for friendship. And that makes sense. I want to say that it's not either or. I'm suggesting that the idea behind the mask of control is a desire for peace, right? Because you're trying to mitigate anxiety, trying to mitigate insecurity. But Reverend Gross suggests that it's actually the mask of control actually hides our desire for friendship. Now, I gotta say again, that making that connection, I don't fully agree with it, but I can honor it, because the reality is that if you're a controlling individual, you're not gonna have any friends. Real friends, because real friends, especially men, will challenge you and encourage you. Real friends who are other men who are strong and confident and growing, well, they're not just gonna let things slide. Now in the hood, the challenge with the hood, where all the men wear the control mask, is that's why the friendships are shallow. They can ride through some stuff and they can do some stuff together, but the friendships are still really shallow. We don't mess around. Like if homeboy is cheating on his girl, we're not gonna say anything because that's the code of the streets. But reality, what we're doing is we're just honoring that guy's need for control, and because we don't want him messing with our need for control, rather than holding him accountable and saying, yo man, you already got baby mama over here waiting for the rent money. Why don't you stop messing around and go handle your business, dog? But no, we get into a fight that happens because we gotta assert control. So aggression comes out as the attempt to assert what? Control. When we're oftentimes dealing with people in law enforcement, one of the things that we're taught is, hey, remember that the person in law enforcement, they have to have a sense in which they are in control of the situation. Now, some of them by nature, because it's law enforcement, but some of it is because even their badges, their uniforms can be a mask. They kind of like, that uniform is really a cover up for insecurity. How do they deal with a situation that's out of their control? That really reveals character. And so the mask of control cuts us off. It's an attempt at a desire for peace, but it's also, I think, it cuts us off from real friendship. There is the the mask of producing. I gotta produce. I gotta make sure that I'm always the guy that is relied upon. I'm the guy that's bringing home the money. I'm the guy that is doing this on the job. I'm producing because I'm afraid to just be. I'm afraid to just be. People who have this mask on are the ones who typically are prone to, and we're going to talk about it more, kind of like a legalism, where religion and the relationship with God is oftentimes about earning favor. It can be very transactional, producing. We are human beings, not human doings. We are human beings, not human doings. First and foremost, we're simply called to just be. We're simply called to just be. There is then the mask of competition. Competition. And we can compete and get ahead. We can look around and see every guy as our rival. Like, one of the things with guys, when we get into a group, immediately we start sizing each other up. And depending on the group, the alpha male, the one will emerge who will lead the group to its purpose, to its place. Again, and it depends, because the alpha is going to be different in a group of engineers than also a group of police officers, or even in a gang. The alpha is going to be different depending on what skills, talents, accomplishments, and everything else is needed. But we can compete with each other. We can see other men as our rivals. And so we hinder brotherhood. We undermine brotherhood. Competition ultimately, though, hides the desire for meaning. It hides the desire for meaning and real humility. Real humility is being free of self-centeredness. Life is best when it's not a story about me. And life is best when it's a story centered around Christ. Life is best when it's a story centered on Christ. And real humility is not thinking lowly of ourselves. No, there's a sense in which competition is good. We want to thrive for excellence, bring the best out in ourselves, keep company with other warriors that are sharp and strong. But meaning transcends competition. Meaning and purposefulness transcend me getting over on somebody else. And real humility is ultimately being free to put others first and God first. Real humility puts God first and others first. It breaks the mask of competition and the mask of legalism, as I was hinting to with the mask of producing. Legalism ultimately hides the desire for spiritual growth. See, legalism reduces the requirements of God to what we can control, to what we can produce, and ultimately legalism looks around and goes, hey, I'm better than everybody else. I'm doing better than everybody else. I'm good. Legalism reduces the relationship with God to a transaction. It ultimately cuts us off from real spiritual growth, and legalism is ultimately haunted by guilt. Because we know we can never measure up to God. We know we need His forgiveness, and we can't earn it. We have to receive it. But pride is the strength of sin, and pride is the strength behind every one of these masks. So how do you break the hold of these things? Well, again, those spiritual disciplines are going to be so important. Spiritual disciplines like entering into solitude and being alone with God and just being. Entering into a place where we are submitted to the authority of others and that we're not the ones in control. Where we're in a place where we're giving other people the credit and making sure that we don't need the credit, and making sure that what our ultimate competition is who we were yesterday, not the man next to us. Who we were yesterday is what we're ultimately competing with, because we're moving toward a greater vision of who we're becoming, where we're going, what we want out of life. Ultimately, that vision drives us forward away from competition, because vision takes us to a place where we have to sacrifice present selfishness and self-centeredness, and legalism requires liberty, the liberty of the spirit, where we're free of guilt, where it's not about reducing God's commands, but seeing how God's holiness and His commands are beyond us. But God sends and gives His Holy Spirit. But God calls us to do life in community. But God calls us to charity and forgiveness and to actually practicing love, not simply talking about how much we know about God, but expressing that we know God because of how we love other people. So family, what do you think about these 4 remaining masks out of the 8 masks of men? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think, family, because you know what?
Now you know the truth.
And I want you to walk in the truth because the truth shall set you free. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share a comment, share this video. Let's continue to talk about these masks of men because we want to be men that are true-faced, not wearing any masks. God bless.